Alright. We are ready to go. Let's see here. Alright, so we're going to be doing some stuff here today. I just learned today that OBS has a star wipe, so that's all we're using now. Alright, let's kill this first. Alright, so I don't need that. Let's see, number one, I'll do a little demo of my app here. So, it has to be admin mode because it's reading memory from an external application, so that's a thing I always forget to do, but I remembered today. Excellent. Visual Studio being very slow. What's going on? Are you actually running? Oh, there we go. Okay. Might be because OBS is encoding at the same time. Maybe it's hogging the CPU. I haven't actually tried this before, so I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out. Performance. Oh, 100% CPU utilization. That would probably be why. No, it's all Visual Studio. Weird. Anyway, okay. So that's the form. Whoa. Man, this thing's sluggish. Weird. Okay. So let's start her up. All right, so this is like what our app is gonna look like. It's very cool design here. They got this little hacking symbol, unlocked, cool. I have all the player data here. I have them unmodified. Right now you can't actually like cheat with this. I mean, cheat as far as changing your name or adding a kill to your kill board that it doesn't really cheat, it just adds a number, but whatever. So right now it's looking for DOSBox, which I do not have running, so let's launch Wing Commander, and it should be pretty good here. So we got the process ID. First we're going to hook it in there. So what that does is it starts reading the information from Wing Commander, and there's nothing there right now because we haven't actually started the game yet. This is something I forgot. I haven't implemented this yet, so just ignore this. It basically, it outputs a small amount of data, and then within Open Broadcast Studio, you can, I'm not running the web server yet. Let's do that. So now we've got the web server running, and it should... There it is. Hey, look at that. Okay. So so now what's happening in here, this is a completely separate application. It's a web application, so it's written in HTML and JavaScript. Let's just pull this up. And what this does is it's basically just a real simple HTML here, and then it uses a library called processing, which basically just gives you some real easy to use functions and such to draw just two-dimensional and 3D graphics in JavaScript. Just makes it a little bit easier. And what I do is I have this font here, a little disorganized. So this is what our font looks like. That's basically, I took that right out of screen captures from the game. We did have a external, it was on, I don't know, it was on some sort of library that Loaf uncovered, but it just didn't quite work right. The something was a little bit off about the aspect ratio of the letters. They weren't even, so I just I took a bunch of screenshots and then just extracted it from the game myself. So everything should. So what it does is it basically treats it as like a sprite sheet, like old style, like video game, like 90s stuff, and it just kind of cuts out a little rectangle and then renders it onto the blackboard, which is this. I kind of painstakingly erased it all because there's not really an easy way to get a clean capture of the blackboard. A little bit of mess up here, you can tell, but once there's text on here, you don't really notice that. It's maybe something I'll try to clean up at some point. But we have that. So this is the font that I was using originally, the one that was supplied from the CIC, but you can't even really notice it here, but there is a little bit of difference that was just causing me a little bit of sorrow when I was trying to implement this, so it's a little bit off. Okay, what else is going on? So, and then what this does is it basically just pulls the data from this little JavaScript object. So what this program does is it outputs this data. It reads it directly from memory and then outputs it to a file. And then what the web application does is it just loads this as though it was just a file out there on the World Wide Web, and then it can use this data to render the final image. So yeah, we have the way Wing Commander does stuff is, so it has your call sign in memory, it has your name, your rank is represented as just an integer, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that if it's 0, you're a second lieutenant, if you're 1, you're a first lieutenant, and so on. Sorties, that's straight from the kill board in the game, so that just pulls that directly from there. The actual kill count, so the way it works is it saves. Every time you finish a mission, it updates the board kills, or like, that's what I call it. I don't know what Origin called it. So when you finish a mission, it updates the board kills, so it adds whatever. So if you killed 5 guys in the previous mission, it'll add 5 to that. And that is kind of persistent. It just keeps saving as you finish a mission. And then this one, current kills, this is reset to 0 every time you start a mission. And as you kill a guy, it increments it. It adds 1. And that is where, so after the mission, when Halcyon's giving you the debriefing, that's where he pulls, oh, you tagged 5 of them, or whatever it is he says. Now, it's a little bit tricky, and this is something I'm planning on debugging in this stream, because I know it doesn't work right now. So this number doesn't reset to 0 until you start a mission. So the way my my little web app works, shoot, I was in the wrong thing here. Oh, so that's Visual Studio. My mistake. So it updates the current kills at the beginning of a mission, and it updates the board kills at the end of a mission. So say you killed 5 guys, and you finish the mission, what it does is it adds 5 to this. So at this point, what my little web app does is it adds those 2 numbers. So then as you're flying a mission, it will give you like a nearly instant update. So then as you're playing, your kills kind of count up in the overlay. But because that weird thing where this doesn't update to 0 until you start the mission, there's going to be this weird period where it's adding 5 and it already added it here. So what I'm going to have to do is figure that out. So that's something I have in mind. So let's just undo that. But let's just get into the game, and I'll kind of talk as I go. So this is the directory that it outputs into. Eventually I'm going to have that be just like a pointer to a very minimal web server. Oops, wrong one. That all this does is it's a real simple web server. It's only static stuff. It doesn't do any sort of dynamic processing. It just gives you files. So it works for just like a local web server. The reason you have to do a web server is basically security things. You can't when the web app tries to pull open Where am I? Whoops, wrong thing here. JavaScript, here we go. I'm looking for load from JSON. Here we go. So what this does, so this function, load JSON, that basically pulls, it's the same as like going in your web browser and typing in that file name. And it pulls it back and then it turns it into something that I can actually use in the program without getting too detailed there. But because just for security reasons, it does not let you do that if you're running it locally, just because it can kind of mess up. I'm sure there's a way you can use that maliciously. But so what you have to do is you either have to run your web browser in administrative mode or disable it, and that's just way too complicated. So it's just easier to run this static web server while it goes. So let's kill this and let's just load up Wing Commander. So let me pull this. Oh, we already have that going, and I'll show you as so when I say 1, because I'm going to load just the regular Wing Commander, so you can see it already pulled the default values. So the default player name is our hero, and blue hair is the call sign. That's just what it loads when it allocates the memory. And this should just take a second. All right. Let me know if the audio levels are a little off, if I'm getting drowned out by the game audio or something. All right, so let's do this, and I actually have a cool overlay here. Oh, and I don't have my joystick plugged in. I didn't think this through. But we can do a quick little demo in here. So yeah, a lot of sleeping guys here because I've been testing a lot of things. But let's pull up. So this is the beginning of Enyo, very start of the game. So it's not going to have any kills. But it does have my name, so that's cool. It doesn't actually use the call sign. I guess I could put that in there if I wanted, but I really just wanted to recreate it as close as to the in-game kill board as possible. And if we wake up Enyo 2, we can see that we got 1 sortie in, we killed 5 guys that mission. We're still a 2nd lieutenant. And I also have up here, I got McAuliffe 2. I think I got promoted at McAuliffe 3. Yeah, so here we have 1st lieutenant, so that updates appropriately, and then I have 4 sorties and 21 kills. Says game audio is a little bit too loud, so let me dial that back a tad. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so I wanted to make it as faithful to the in-game one as possible. Yeah, I agree. I like that it doesn't have, like, Maniac, Angel, whatever. It makes them feel like actual people, you know, characters. Gives them, just like that one little thing makes a pretty big difference. So you can see, comparing the two here, I basically ripped this directly from the game. And what I do in JavaScript, actually, I guess technically CSS, but whatever. I think if I redo that, is it gonna? Okay. Well, it should be kind of dynamic. So if this were to be, well, resized in OBS, it should kind of stretch out the frame. And you can kind of see in here where the background, so on the screen, hold on, let me switch frame. So here, I have a pointer now. You can see this, like, eraser on the board, which is kind of funny, because, like, why are they using chalk in space? Because no one uses chalk in 2018, but whatever. And then in the, pull this guy up. In here, you can see how it's kind of, like, squished. So it doesn't quite look right. I'm not really sure how I'm going to handle that at this point, but I might just leave it like a dark gray or something, but I really like the cracks. One thing I want to add is where you can put some like text at the top. Right now you can do that, but it's not super convenient. You have to do it inside the actual JavaScript. So what I want to do is make it so, say I was, if I was opening, let's pull that up. If I was, say, I'll just open this in Edit and Notepad++. Like what I would want to do is make it so you can have like maybe a an element in here that says like, I don't know, TCS Tiger's Claw. And then what it will do is see that the end user added that to the HTML, and then it'll render it right into the board. But just haven't gotten there yet. That's a kind of advanced feature. It actually wouldn't be that hard to implement, but one thing at a time. So anyway, let's close this, do that, and all right, I'm gonna plug in my what am I doing? What's going on? Oh, there we go. DOSBox froze for a second there. Let me plug in my joystick though, so I can actually play, and I can show you how it pulls everything up as you kill a guy. It's kind of cool. I'm just gonna mute this for a second as I reach around to get the joystick plugged in. Okay, joystick is plugged in, I think. Oh, it's because I'm gonna have to restart this. It's because I use Joy2 key, so it should be okay. Yeah, that's working. But I think it doesn't. I think DOSBox doesn't like that when I plug it in after I've already started it. I have to make my joystick actually fit on my desktop. Whoa. So I have Thrustmaster, what is it called? HOTUS X, I think. It's like a cheap, I mean it's like $60. It's kind of clunky and awkward, but it works pretty good. It's just, I wish it was just a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so I got my my game set up here. Joystick's good. Should be good to go now. Oh shoot! You know, when I killed DOSBox, I broke my program, so that's actually a bug that I want to take care of. Maybe not immediately, but let's bugs to fix. Bugs TP Fox does not unhook hook properly with DOSBox. Okay, we will save this. Okay, so now we need to stop this. Really, my biggest issue with having the joystick is I run out of mouse area. Alright, so let's restart this. And it should be good there. And should that work? Now OBS is not cooperating. You can tell I don't stream much. Okay. Here we go. That's working. Alright, and I think if I pull the joystick, that should be working. Okay, cool. Let's just start at the beginning. Load a game first. I meant shoot. Well, NEO1. It's gonna start a new one, but this is effectively the same. Yeah, so we loaded it, it brought in the data. It refreshes about once every second. So it does have a little bit of delay to it, but not much. Okay. I'm sure we've all seen this before, so I'm not going to watch the whole briefing. Okay. I'm a little rusty, so no promises on how good this is gonna go. And my joystick is right next to the microphone, so that's probably gonna be a problem. I apologize. I'll rethink a bit this in the future. Yeah, be quiet, Spirit. Whoa. You are coming in close, sir. Alright, so that should automatically update. Yeah, see? It went up by 1. Ooh, nice shooting, man. Spirit took one from me. That was a nice... Oh, wait, I got that one. Huh. Nothing at nav 2. There's asteroids, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, we're at nav 1. Yeah, so. Yeah, I was thinking that's actually very... Should be easy to do. Get the wingman's kills on there too. Because it probably just keeps it in memory similar to the way it does the player one, so... Whoa, whoops. I took a little damage there. These asteroids are brutal. Okay, target tracking, that's not too bad. I kind of forgot until I started doing this just how brutal the asteroids are in this game. Like, first mission, too. I died a couple times just from being careless. Once you get, like, the rotation and the rudders, that actually helps a lot with the asteroids. That's why I use joystick. I can, like, twist my stick to make it rotate. It's not perfect, but... definitely helps with navigating. Alright, we are clear of this asteroid field. Can move onward. Oh, be quiet. Yeah, nice shooting. Oh, you're dead, dude. One thing I'd love to see in, like a Wing Commander, like, update or remake is just... the controls just need to be a little better. It's just... I find it just a little bit awkward to deal with. It's still great, obviously, but it does get a little tricky sometimes when you're flying in close. Alright. So we're basically done, we just need to get home. Hazard near, I know. Let's slow down a tad. Yeah, the controls, like, it's like they're fine for the time, but, like, they just need to be updated, really. Like, it's a bummer that it doesn't support, like, better joysticks. It really just does the 2-button joystick, as far as I can tell. So it just... oh, fuck. Well... exactly what I was saying. Died on his first mission. It is sad. Alright. Well, let's move on to Enyo 2. Because I just don't feel like playing the same mission twice. So that... wait, what is going on here? Oh, okay. So this is actually that bug that I was referring to. So let's hold on for a second. Let's back out of this. And let's look at what we have to work with, just so I can maybe better explain what the problem is. So the issue, where's my file? Solution Explorer, that's what I want. Actually, no. Let's pull this up in the web app. I think it's right in here. Yeah, so it's this this thing right here. So right now, oh shoot, something's not right. Oh, I know what it is. I'm in the wrong thing. So I have two separate directories. One's for the web app and one's for the thing that actually pulls from memory, and I was just in the wrong one. But I am looking for bin. And we want the debug and HT documents. Alright, so now... alright, so this is what we're looking at right now. So what's from the game. So we have... it says we have 3 kills, which obviously is not right, because we're not even in a ship right now. We're in the barracks. So it still sees those 3 that I killed in the previous mission, because that doesn't reset until you actually start the mission. You're actually launching. You're going out into space. So that's why it says on the what I do. There we go. That's why it says in here that I have 8 kills, because it's adding 3 plus 5. So what I need to do is figure out a way to not do that, because so the way I'm going to see about doing it is when you finish the mission, it automatically updates, sorry, having some issues here. It automatically updates this, so it'll just add 3. It'll say, okay, 3 plus 5, add it, and then it updates that. But, so it's adding 3 and 8, that's where we get the 11. What I want to do is find out a way where I can detect that that changed. That's actually pretty easy to do. So I can just sort of monitor it to see when that changes, and then I can tell it to just not count this. I can say, okay, just pretend that's 0 for now. So that way it doesn't cause any confusion in the end, and then what I can do next is continuously read the memory, and then when that gets changed to 0, that way I know that I'm in a new mission now and everything's right again. So what I need to do is 2 change scenarios. One is when this changes, because that's when Halcyon's debriefing us, and then when this changes, that's when we're actually starting a new mission. So we just need to have a little thing to figure out that in-between scenario where the numbers are a little bit off. So let's get out of here. Yeah, I know. Quit. And we want to do that inside Visual Studio. So I'm gonna pull that up, and let's see if I can figure this out without thinking too much. So what I want to do is look for when the board kills gets updated, because that's when we're getting debriefed. So that's what we need to look for. So that's going to be something that this process, no, not the process watchdog, the memory worker, because what that's doing is it's filling the data. I think I can do that from within. So let's just exit the debugger for now, and go into. I am going to be like thinking while I'm doing this, so I apologize if I run out of things to say for a moment here and there. I think it's going to be in here. Let's just open that file, actually, because this is rich memory. We have fill data. Text from game doesn't equal call sign. Okay, yeah. Here we go. I actually kind of built this in such a way that it's kind of simple, I guess, to figure out. So what this function does, fill data. First of all, it has a boolean there that lets us know whether anything's been updated, like literally anything. The call sign, the name, the kills, sorties, anything, rank. And that gets updated to true once we've detected a change. So the first thing I do is I get the call sign. So this, you get the call sign from the game. I wonder, maybe I should increase my font a little bit. Well, that's not what I wanted. Options. Oh man. Yeah, Visual Studio. A lot of options. General. No? Where's the font? It's gotta be in here somewhere. Huh. Text editor, file, all language. Nope. General. Oh, search options. I bet it's in there. Font. Environment. Okay. Uh-oh. There. Okay. For text editor. Okay, I want to just make this bigger, and I want to change it to a different. I like anonymous. We'll make that. Let's do 20. See how that looks. It might be a little bit bigger than I really want. Options. Fonts. Let's do 18. Okay, cool. Alright, so. First thing we do, we get the... So this reads it directly from memory. This function calculates the address that it needs to... the memory address it needs to pull from. And then it uses this very convenient module that I downloaded that just reads things from memory. You tell it the address, you tell it how long it is, and then it returns. So pretty simple stuff there. And then what I do, so after we've pulled it directly from memory, we see if it changed. So we're just comparing if the text that we pulled from the game is not equal to the call sign that we have in our current data set. So if that does not equal that, we know it changed. So then we update the data set. We say, okay, text from game does not equal our call sign, so let's set the call sign equal to what we pulled from the game. And then we change this to true, so that way we know that something changed. And then we do this exact same thing for the player name, the board kills, the current kills, which is the one... actually, no, it's the board kills that we want to look at. All right, so... Let's kind of think this through. We come back from the mission, we land, we're getting debriefed, and the board kills updates. Because it takes the current kills, it adds it to that, and then it updates it. So if we've detected a change here, this is where we want to figure out if we're being debriefed. So the way we're going to do that... I'm trying to think of how we can do this. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna move this up. So, because we need to use the current kills to see if this updated properly. So we're gonna create a second variable, also an integer. So let's call that n board kills, and we'll call that n current kills. And now it's getting very confused because I renamed a variable. So we're gonna call this n board kills. All right. Okay, so we detected a change in the board kills. First thing, we're gonna update the data regardless. And now we're gonna say if data.boardKills. Actually, I guess I can do it. I don't know, whatever. Board kills is equal to, so if it's equal to the previous one, oh shoot, okay, I'm still thinking here, because what we need to do is we need to track the previous, so let's say previous board kills rather. Put that in here because it's local to this scope. All right, so what we're doing is we're taking the previous value and we're storing it in this temporary variable, and then what we're going to do, we'll update that, and then we're going to say if data.boardKills is equal to the previous board kills plus the current kills. Oops, and I missed. I'm not assigning, I'm comparing. Because if the previous... if you add the current kills to the previous board kills, you get the updated board kills. And we're just going to call... We'll have a little variable... this is going to have to be higher in scope, because we're going to have to reference it later. If data kill... Wait, what is this called? I have to do a little thinking here. Hold on. Find references. We call it line 51. So we call it there. Oh, okay, we call this originally when we hook to the process, and then we also call it here. Reading serial JSON. Oh, it must be... This is the one we're actually looking for. Yeah, we call this function a few times. It's called when we first load the program. This is when we're writing the output. We update it immediately, and then we serialize it. This is the actual thing that's just running constantly. So it sleeps for 1,000 milliseconds, and then it loops back to here. It has not been canceled yet. and then it reads the data, and it reports progress if it has changed, because this fill data method returns true if it has changed and false if it has not changed. So if it has not changed, we don't bother updating the on-screen display. Thinking. I'm trying to think of how we can do this. I guess it's gonna have to be... I'm a little stumped right now. It might have to be a global variable, which I don't like doing, but it's an easy way to make it work. We'll call it debrief mode. And it's initially going to be false. Oh, come on. A namespace cannot contain members such as fields or methods. That's true. How can I do this? Can't have global variables. It makes it a little tricky. There might be a way you can do a global. Is there a way you can do a global variable in C#? Let's check the internet. We don't need this. C# global variable. Cannot define true. Yeah, I know. In C# you cannot define true in the sense that they don't belong in a class. Oh, you have to have a stat. No, this is terrible. Crap. I think probably the easiest way is to track it inside the form, and then tie it to a variable inside the memory reader, I guess. This is annoying. Oh, you know what? I can do it inside the memory reader. I don't even need it in here. I'm not really thinking clearly. So let's go back in here. It can just be, Okay, public boolean, and we'll call it debrief mode. It's initially false, and we're just gonna make that true when we're inside the debriefing. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Sorry if it's a little dry at times, but I don't know, it's interesting to me, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. So we're gonna go back down here. So we'll go in here and we'll put a little comment here. We are being debriefed. So we will say debrief mode is now equal to true. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to set data.currentKills equal to 0. Is that going to work? Cool. I'm glad you guys like it. If you want me to explain anything a little further, I'm trying not to get too technical, so I am kind of purposefully not explaining some stuff. But if there's anything that you're kind of curious about, feel free to ask and I will answer. Because what I want here is, because what's going to happen? Oh, you know what I can do? I can put this up here because I still want the current kills to get updated accurately, so I'm gonna paste that there. And we do have to rename all these variables that are not working now. Current kills does not equal current kills. Do that, and current kills. Actually, no. I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. I'm gonna go down here, put this back where it came from, because what I can do is I can just check to see if we're in debrief mode, and if we're in debrief mode, I'm just not going to execute this part. So if debrief mode, so programmatically, if whenever you're saying if this and that, if that first thing, this, if that's false, it doesn't even bother with the rest of it. So if this is true, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this from the wrong direction. So debrief mode is true. If debrief mode is false or does not equal true, because we only want to update this if we're in the mission. If we're not in the mission, we want to leave it as is. We want to leave it at 0. I think that works, I think. So now we can leave the rest of that stuff as is, and we can check. I'm just trying to think of how I can make sure this works. All right, so let's kind of just go through this in our heads, or without actually running anything. So let's say current kills. We just finished a mission. We had 5 kills. Board kills was at 1, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. So that's what we're looking at going in. So the game goes in here, and what the game is going to do internally, it's going to say that board kills is now 6. But it does not reset that until later, so that's still going to be 5. So what we want to do is go down here. So if our board kills, so we pull the board kills from the game, and if it's equal to the previous board kills, which would be 1 plus 5, so if 6 is equal to 1 plus 5, which it is, we set that to true. We set current kills to 0, and that should be good. So the next thing we have to do is figure out how to get out of this debrief mode, because it is, right now it's being assigned, but it's never being made false again. So what we need to do, let's think about that. So the way we know when we're starting a mission, when we're getting out of that debrief mode, is when our current kills gets reset to 0. Because that gets reset at the start of the mission. And that's when we want to exit debrief mode and just kind of start working normally again. Let me just think of where that's going to go. So if board kills, I can say if current kills is equal to 0, but that's not going to work because we only want it to trigger when it's changed to 0, not when it's equal to 0. Easiest way to do that is same thing. We just need to track the previous value. Oh, we actually have the previous value in. If current kills is equal to, oh, you know what? We can just say if it's less than data.current kills and current kills equals 0. And we always know it's going to be equal to 0 when we reset, so that's a good condition to have. And then we also just want to make sure this went from, so like say in this previous example, so this is where we are internally in the game. So we want to check for when current kills changes to 0. So it's going to be less than the previous value. That could be anything. That's the only tricky part. And it could even be 0. Because if you don't kill anything, that's gonna be annoying. If current kills equals 0, this might just have to work if current kills equals... Will it work, though? That's the only thing I'm not sure of. It's not that it wouldn't work in this scenario. It would work in this scenario. I'm just trying to make sure it works in every scenario. Because I don't have to fix this a second time. What I'm thinking is, so like say you start a brand new game. If current kills equals 0, I guess it wouldn't matter in that case. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, and we'll just see if it works. I think it's gonna work, and I haven't really thought it through, so it's kind of hard to say for sure or not. We'll put that in braces. Debrief mode equals false. I'm sure there's a way I can test this. I'm not great with Visual Studio, but we'll just test it by playing because that's more fun anyway. Change equals true. All right, let's just see if it works, I guess. It might, maybe I missed something completely, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so that's hooked in. Start the web thing, and let's switch back to here. And I think what I'll do is... Oh, I'm in the wrong thing here. Yeah, definitely we can do all sorts of stuff. My biggest problem with streaming is just, like, motivation. Okay, so it's still a little confused here. It seems to think we have 3 kills, even though we have 0. I think that's just because we still haven't reset that internal counter. And 2, yeah, because it still thinks we have 3 kills in mission. I'm trying to think of how I can do that. You know, if I just go in here, it should. I think it'll just work. Let's see what happens. Alright. Hopefully it'll say 5 now. Okay. It says 5, that's good. We are off to a start. That's a little too early to say. I'm not used to debugging quickly in live, so I'm not sure how accurate that debugging was, but we'll see. Yeah, enemy ships. You can go ahead and break. Honestly, I don't care if the transport survives. I just want to survive the mission. So as long as I don't crash into any asteroids, should be okay. Oh, you fucker. Oh, I'm going very slow. Full speed, how about that? I mean, obviously I will try to save the transport, but for the purposes of this stream, it's not really necessary. This is one circumstance well, that didn't work well. Like I said, I am a bit rusty. Okay, let's try this again. At least I killed him. It says 6 kills, so it's a start. Well, that's another thing that doesn't work. So that might be a problem where if you die, it doesn't update either. That, I don't know, I'll think about that some other time. I'd have to actually kind of look at the memory in Cheat Engine as it updates to see what exactly it's doing. Oh, fuck. I have like these hotkeys on my joystick, and I don't remember what they all do. Okay, get out of the way, Spirit. Jesus. We're again going very slow. we got a kill. Let's make sure it updated. 6, cool. Oh, we've just completely abandoned the transport. How are you not dead, dude? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, if I do not have pedals, but it would be a cool thing to have. It's just, I don't know. It's not a thing I see myself using all that often. Alright. So we got another kill. So far, so good. Let's take a look at our nav map, because I was not paying attention to the briefing. Nav 2, okay. I've never used rudder pedals, but my guess would be you hit the left one to turn left and the right one to rotate right. Yeah, I've never even used a set of rudder pedals, so, I mean, I imagine there's not a whole lot to say about, but, it'd be cool to at least kind of see them in action, I guess. Dead. Oh shit. Get away from the transport. Alright, I stole your kill, Spirit. Alright, let's get back to the Drayman. Where are you? There you are. What exactly is an RCS pedal? I don't know what that means. Well, let's watch him take off. I know you don't have to watch it take off, but how can you not, right? All right, so let's see if this works. Oh shit, there's asteroids. Fuck. I didn't see that on the nav map. Okay. I'll try very hard not to have a catastrophic accident in the asteroid field. Oh, so it's just their internal naming. Gotcha. I think patience also helps with the asteroids and... Oh, well, okay. Okay, I really need to concentrate because I can't take another one of those. Oh, fuck. Like, where did that thing even come from? Weapon destroyed. Okay. We still got one. No. There's too many of them. Okay, I think we're clear. Okay. Whew. If I died again, then I'm honestly not sure what I would have done. Alright, so hopefully once we enter the debriefing... Yeah, I need, landing. Cool. Alright, so far so good. I forget when it actually updates. It's either when you land or when you're actually in the debriefing. I forget. But hopefully it'll just keep saying 110. Actually, it should update to 210 because 2 sorties, 10 kills, right? Come on. Okay, yeah, it works. Oh, great. Yeah, thanks, man. Spirit got one too, I think. Does she? Does she? Second lieutenant? I took out 5, yeah. And yeah, so what are you talking about, dude? She didn't kill anything. Loaf says afterburners for mines. Sorry, just catching up on the chat. Okay, so mines you want, afterburners, asteroids are... Okay. Yeah, I shoot for around 250, but, like, they pop up out of nowhere. Yeah, we're leaving Enyo, I know. Oh, I got a medal. That's cool. I don't know if I'm sure there is a way I could, check for medals and, like, have that update appropriately, but I don't know, that's a lot of work. Alright, so right now... Oh, actually, you know, I'm in the debugger. I can actually just look at it to see if it's working. That's right. So let's pause. And... where's my... Actually, let's... You know, I'm going to put a breakpoint in here, and we'll just debug it live as we go out into the mission. Let me just look at the board in game. 2 and 10. All right, so that matches up with what I got on the little overlay. And what should happen is when I launch, that breakpoint should hit in the Visual Studio. Should. Oh, it didn't. Oh, fuck. Why not? Oh, you know, maybe it's because, you know, I don't know, honestly. So it might not quite work. I may have to reapproach it. Let's just kill a guy and see if that works. If that doesn't work, then, then I've failed. I just want to kill someone fast. I'm worried it's not going to work. Alright, so... Did it? No, it didn't. Well, shit. Okay. So we're gonna have to, I don't know. My logic was off. I could have sworn that was gonna work. Oh, you fucker. Get back here, dude. Oh, is that me? I don't even know. Alright, so I'm gonna bail right now. Because I'm not exactly sure why my code's not working. I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit and reapproach it later. It seems like it works when we're getting debriefed, but it doesn't seem to work when we're exiting the debrief mode, so I need to figure out how to do that appropriately. We got another medal. Whatever, I'm not gonna bother saving or anything. Cool. So I'm gonna stop for now. Hopefully, why aren't my hotkeys working? Control Alt 2? I had these like hotkeys set up for OBS where it would automatically switch my things, but I don't know. I'm gonna stop here because I'm not really sure where to go from here. I need to think about why this isn't working and come back to it later. So I hope you all enjoyed this stream, and we'll do it again sometime. Take care.